technologically.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Butt reaction.
When I fuck with my butt, you gotta plug your nose out. You gotta plug your nose out. You gotta plug your nose out. When I eat too much grub, look out for my butt. Look out for my butt. Look out for my butt. See the poop in the bowl. They know it's my butt. They know it's my butt. They know it's my butt. When I eat too much grub, look out for my butt. Look out for my butt. Look out for my butt. I need to poop and fart. I hope I don't shart. And poop and fart. Hope I don't shart. We say oh, yo, yo, yo. We say oh, yo, yo, yo. I need to poop and fart. I hope I don't shart. And poop and fart. Hope I don't shart. We say oh, yo, yo, yo.
You are now whipping on to butt tissue.
On the John.
Dude, the Black Eyed Peas never sounded so good.
Right? They improved.
Yeah.
They totally
Excuse me,
improved.
they're the black-eyed poos.
I thought it was.
Who
That
did
is-
that parodio?
That is somebody by the name of Peter Chow.
Nice.
Yeah, he did good work.
good man.
I thought it was it was time we opened with a funny song because we haven't done that in a while, and I found that
Well, been funny?
very funny. Yeah, so that was awesome.
Speak for yourself, Dave.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Good.
All
good,
right.
man. Yeah, Mugs. I like that you turned it on, man, because before we started recording, you look like, you killed a cat or something.
Death, hell,
I don't know. Are you
Depression?
feeling good? Okay.
feel
all
great.
that.
Feel great. I don't know what you're talking about, Dave. But yeah, no.
I'm just,
Actually, what's that?
I'm just glad there's no construction going on at Dave's house right now because last episode,
Dude, they didn't come today.
Wow.
They didn't come
really?
today.
We lucked out.
Yeah. Yeah, yesterday it was insane, dude. Like I literally had to leave.
Oh,
I took
my
Rhonda and I
Lord.
walked out because there was so much going on.
That's
And
crazy.
today they're gone, so
Good.
it's great.
That's awesome.
If you want, Omar, I can go grab some hammers.
no,
and start
please.
banging on things.
no.
Just, you
I'm
know,
good.
ad nauseam.
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good.
But Muggs, how you all right?
Yeah, well, if you can't tell, my voice is kind of hoarse. And
Yeah, COVID 2.0.
no,
no.
not COVID 2.0. No, I spent my entire Tuesday afternoon at Angel Stadium yelling
What?
at Astros players. And it was great.
Are the
It was
Astros the
awesome.
cheating team that cheats?
Yep, they sure
Yep.
are, Omar. And they were in town to play a 2-game series against the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the second game, and to my surprise, actually not really to my surprise, but there were a lot of Dodger fans there to do exactly what I came to do. I had to wait an entire year. Us Dodger fans had to wait an entire year to do this because I was all ready to go last year because in 2019 at the end of that season they determined that the Astros were cheaters.
Yeah.
So we found that out, in the off season, and then 2020 was going to be like, oh, here we go. And it, spring training started and they were already getting heckled at spring training, and then COVID shut everything down. So that Tuesday felt so good. I finally was able to release all my frustration and anger at Jose Altuve. It was great.
Tell me about the camaraderie and how it was, because I'm sure probably everybody got wasted and started having a good old time by, inning 3, right? And started going off. Did any fights happen, or did they
dude,
have to settle
I was-
everybody down? Because
There was no fights, Omar, but I was wasted before the first inning.
were you?
pre-gamed.
Oh,
Yeah, we
nice.
pre-gamed it.
okay.
I went with my buddy, and we pre-gamed it pretty hard in the parking lot. But, it's funny because Angels and Dodger fans have always had, the freeway rivalry, right? Anaheim and Los Angeles, and there's always been some tension whenever
Yeah, but it's
Dodgers
not
are at
the
Angels.
it's not the tension that the Dodgers have like against San Francisco. It's nothing like
No,
that, right?
no,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not that
no.
rivalry.
Okay.
It's not that rivalry.
It's like a
but yeah,
friendly,
there-
hey, cross town, hey guys,
Yes.
we're both in LA.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
yeah,
I
exactly.
get
Dodgers suck, Angels suck,
it.
whatever.
Got it.
But on Tuesday, the Astros literally brought Angels and Dodgers fans together. I've never seen
Wow, that's
such
awesome.
harmony. Not only were there some Dodger fans sprinkled in, such as myself, Angels fans were supporting all the Dodgers fans that were there with signs. They were yelling things. It was great. I mean, I felt like, I was doing like a 1 hour set at the Chuckle Hut because I would just yell things like to Altuve. I would be like, Altuve, let me see your pecs. Take off your shirt. Is your buzzer turned on? Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. I did liar, liar, wearing a wire, like really loud.
That's a good one. Okay, that's a good one.
And the good thing about, the limited capacity is like when there's downtime, like when, in between pitches, it gets really quiet. And I was about, I would say 10 rows up from the middle of the outfield. So every time the play would get quiet, I would just scream so loud. And it was amazing. It was so therapeutic. And for the first time in my life, 37 years old, a foul ball came from the sky, hit me directly in my right hand, and popped out.
Oh no!
Oh,
Yep.
Did you
I'm
not?
trying to
womp womp womp.
So you didn't even see it coming? It just hit you?
I saw it.
Oh, you did?
No, he just dropped the ball.
It literally, Omar, I looked up, I'm like, oh my God, this is coming right at, this is amazing. This is the first time in my life. I've been at thousands upon thousands of baseball games. And, there's always a foul ball.
I don't think you've been to thousands
over.
upon thousands of baseball games.
Omar.
I think that's mathematically impossible,
upon millions, billions, okay?
I think hundreds, maybe. Maybe I'll give you hundreds.
No. Trillions. So,
all right.
There was always like an opportunity for me to get one, but it was always like a section over or like, a whole row, like a section up. It was always around me. Never, but this literally came right to me. And so it bounced out of my hand.
Yeah.
And there was the row in front of us was empty because of the limited capacity and went right to a kid. So it couldn't have worked out any better. But I was so depressed afterwards. Like I was like, really? Because all my buddy was laughing at me. Like some Angels fans were laughing at me. They're like, oh yeah, had to be a Dodger fan, couldn't catch a foul ball, huh? I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. Well, two things, Muggs. One, I'm really glad I wasn't next to you because you know how I am with screaming at a baseball game.
Oh, it's great.
I'm right next to you. Oh,
Yeah,
that would have been terrible
Dave likes
for me.
peace and quiet at a baseball
Oh,
game.
I love it. Love the serenity. But two, I'm really disappointed in you. You and the whole fan base that was there that day.
Why?
Because the day before, they had trash cans that they were banging. They threw it onto the field.
Whoa.
They threw fake plastic trash cans on the field. Like they blew up like this is the only time I would be cool with them blowing things up and passing it around like a beach ball because beach balls don't belong there. But they were trash cans. They were blow up trash cans and they threw them into the field. They had to stop the game for it. And real trash cans. That guy was banging the trash can and then threw it onto the field. Those are fans, man. You guys were just like, wire, pants on fire. What were you saying? Like,
Well, I couldn't sneak a real trash can, let alone an inflatable trash can.
that
in my
guy
pants.
took it from the concourse. That's dedication.
Holy
man.
crap.
Where are you at?
I didn't want to.
Where are you at,
I didn't want to
bro?
get thrown out of Angel Stadium, But I did my best, and I think it got to. Altuve did respond to me at one point.
He did?
He did. He sits there and bites his nails. So like after I ran out of things to say because I didn't want to repeat myself because I wanted to keep it fresh,
Yeah.
I wanted to keep the people laughing.
That's how you do.
He was just biting his. I'm like, quit biting your nails. It's a bad habit. And he didn't look at me. He kept on biting his nails. Hold on, Dave. That's not the point.
Oh, okay.
He kept on biting his nails and he did the to me.
But
The
no.
with his finger. And so I stood up and I was like, no. Like when he held his jersey, when the players wanted to rip it off after he hit the walk-off home run, but he was wearing a buzzer and he said he didn't want to make his wife embarrassed and he was embarrassed to take his shirt off. So
That sounds exciting,
Listen.
man.
Listen, Muggs, you
great,
think
Omar.
I'm being sarcastic, but if you're gonna like tease and heckle, I love the worst heckles in the world. That's like to me that's even funnier than like good ones.
your hair
because
sucks.
your hair is short, like because then they look at because then they'll actually respond to you because they'll be like, "What was that?" Like, and that's like I forgot which Padres outfielder, but is like his name was like Gay or Say or Ray or something like that, and we would just be like, "Hey, have a nice day," and he's looking at us like, "What are you guys doing?" and then he threw us a ball. So that was cool. See? So I really appreciate the
You're
cheesy...
coming after me after my heckles, huh? Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, I appreciate the worst heckles in the world. Those are funnier than the clever ones and the mean spirited ones. So
yeah. And also I made sure not to cuss because there's a lot of kids around. I made sure to keep it all PG, and all the
for
kids
you.
were laughing.
Good.
All the kids were laughing at my stuff.
I want to bring up two things that are baseball related. First one, Muggs, this is just to tick you off. I have a brother-in-law that probably has attended 50 games. And he's caught
1,000? Wow.
No, just like 50 games, right? But he is a super hardcore Dodger fan. He's like you guys, right? Very hardcore. Right. He's gotten, like I said, like 50. He's probably caught 10 foul balls. He is like I was there. He went to one of the Kevin and Bean Dodger days that we had. Yeah. And sure enough, in the first inning, he caught something. I'm like, what? Wow. He always brings his glove, and he calls it his lucky gloves. And without fail, he says, I tend to catch a lot of foul balls, man. I was just like, are you kidding? Jason. You know Jason. He barbecues and stuff.
Yeah, that guy. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Jason.
Nice.
So, yeah.
But with another baseball related thing,
well, I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up.
Oh,
two.
I'm sorry.
I said two.
You had two.
Yeah. Okay. I saw you guys on social media going back and forth.
That was what I was going to bring up
about this Shake Shack, and I don't know anything about why Dave is hitting on Muggs. And tell me a little bit about that.
No. Okay, so here, let me explain. Let me explain.
Yeah.
So Omar, it was announced that Shake Shack is going to be the burger joint is going to be at the new center field plaza at Dodger
that's
Stadium.
right. They're going to redo everything, or they already redid everything. Yeah,
it's when we go back to Dodger Stadium, it's going to look completely different, like than what we remember it.
Yeah.
So I sent out a tweet. I wrote, "I love Shake Shack as much as the next person with good taste, but they do not belong at Dodger Stadium. It should be Tam's Burgers." And if you know Tams, and it's a joke. It's a local,
I was going to say
it's
Tams is garbage too. By the way, I don't like Tams.
But my point being, and I stand true to this, is Shake Shack. When I think of Shake Shack, I think of New York. So and Dodger Stadium is getting so gentrified with the food now that I'm kind of bummed that it's not sticking to Los Angeles stuff. So when Mug said In-N-Out, I was like, listen, I went for Tams because it's kind of like a joke part of the tweet, but I wouldn't mind In-N-Out if it was the truck and not an actual restaurant, because then they give you the chips and not the fries, because the fries are the worst part. I don't mind that, but I was hoping that it would stick to like Los Angeles based thing, because they used to have King Taco and a bunch of like Farmer John's, like the Dodger dogs are Farmer John Dodger dogs, and that's why you go to Dodger Stadium. Now it's becoming like every other stadium where it's major corporations bringing in their foods. And listen, yes, Shake Shack is delicious. I love it.
You see, for a guy like me, this is a huge plus, because I can go to a Dodger game and also try Shake Shack because I've never had it. I think it's a huge appeal for a person like me.
Yeah, you're gonna pay 3 times the amount for the Shake Shack. But,
good point.
But and that's my point being, is that I was hoping that the Dodgers would stick to local foods.
I can see that.
And that was my point with that. So Muggs, I get where you were coming from, and I was joking about Tams, but I am bummed at Shake Shack. I love Shake Shack, but I am bummed that they're bringing in Shake Shack and like all these other like big time food. That's the reason why I don't like Anaheim. I don't like the food at Anaheim Stadium. It's Carl's Jr., Panda Express, which you guys know I love Panda Express, and Wiener Schnitzel. I love Wiener Schnitzel too, but I want that local hot dog flavor. Like, if we're gonna replace all hot dogs, might as well just use the Costco hot dogs, because they're the best hot dogs around.
Yeah.
So that's my point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that, and I'm not looking forward to spending $20 on a burger from Shake Shack, because that's what they're going to be. They're going to be super expensive.
But you can still bring your own food in, I think, right?
At Dodger Stadium?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, you could. I guess. Well, I don't know how it's going to be this year because of COVID and all this, but you were able to in the past bring your own food.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I think the only thing you weren't allowed to bring in was like beer, obviously alcohol, and you might have been able to bring in water and like soda, but definitely food. Wow. So I don't know how it's going to be this year.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
Baseball.
But that's going to be exciting. Oh, you had a crazy week, huh?
Yeah, Stryker and Klein had a couple of days off. They gave us Thursday and Friday off, and it was totally
Yeah, I
last
had it
minute.
off too. That was pretty cool.
What you decide to do on your vacation, Dave? On your perma vacation?
Just chilling,
Okay, all right. But no, yeah. So it was like a last minute thing, and my wife and I are totally just playing by the rules, and we felt so cooped up in here. We said let's do a road trip to the Grand Canyon because we've never been there. And even though they don't have a mask mandate, that I came to find out, from Dave, I said, let's go. We'll be responsible, and let's just get out there and have some fun. And man, it was so much fun. This is the longest. This is the longest road trip that me and my family have taken by ourselves without stopping. So we drove about, oh man, nonstop, like 5 hours before we hit our first stop to eat, and the kids were fine. No devices.
Nice.
They were doing
5
activities. Yeah, they were doing activities, and they were reading books. And trust me, I was super nervous about the entire trip because the last thing I wanted to do is hand them device and, be like, all right, here you go. You can watch Dora the Explorer all the way there. Didn't want to do that. And I also wanted to be engaging, especially this is, a family trip, that I want them to remember. So the trip there was super easy. We ate at these local places, which I love eating. We stopped at Needles, ate at this place called the Wagon Wheel, and everybody was masked up. And once we got in, we stayed at this place called Williams, Arizona. It's about an hour away from the Grand Canyon. And once we got there, the people in the hotel, everybody's masked up, but we went to the Grand Canyon Brewery to have dinner. And just like Dave said, there is no mask mandate. Nobody there. It was probably, I'm going to say, 20% of the people were wearing masks, but obviously no mask mandate. So a lot of people were not. We got a server that was not wearing a mask, but he was very respectful of our space. So he made it known that, hey, if you guys feel weird, just give me the word, and I'll kind of walk around you to serve you. But I got to be honest, about 10 minutes when we took our masks off, we kind of just let our hair down, and it felt like regular times, man. It felt really good, and I totally felt safe. So that was good. It was good food, good beer, and let me tell you about the Grand Mother Effin' Canyon. I had a buddy.
Grand Mother Effin' Canyon.
Yeah,
It's a big hole in the ground, right?
yeah, basically it is. It is. That's what it is. It's a big hole in the ground. And my buddy had kind of salted me on going to the Grand Canyon because he had been there, and he was just like, dude, it's a big hole in the ground. You kind of get bored of it within hours. So I was like, oh man, I didn't know what to expect. And what we did is what I think everybody should do if you can afford to do it. Luckily, my wife and I have been saving, so we were lucky enough to, while going to the Grand Canyon, there's a little airport. So we took an airplane ride that takes you around the entire rim of the Grand Canyon and right down the middle. They also have helicopter rides where you could actually go inside the Grand Canyon, which is a little bit more expensive. But we decided to do the airplane ride, and that, my friends, is the way to do it because there's no other word to describe it. But it was just like it's breathtaking. It was like, this is not real. And like, you really get to enjoy the magnitude and the scope of how huge this thing is, and the river going down the middle. I mean, I went there, and it's still not real to me. It just seemed fake when you were looking down there because I've only seen it on TV and seen pictures, seen it online. When you see something that huge, it really does make you realize how small you are as a person.
Okay, Omar.
Yeah.
Here's my final quiz question to you.
Where's the first one?
Yeah. You get one and only one.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. All right.
And if you get it right, you pass.
Okay.
Oh,
How was the Grand Canyon formed?
How was the Grand Canyon formed?
good question.
The oceans were all like, oh, I'm really heavy, and then it evaporated. I don't know. Tell me.
Well, Omar, you failed, my friend.
Okay.
They didn't. You didn't learn that when you were over there. You didn't have like a guide or anything. Or
During the airplane tour, they had headphones and they were jibber jabbering, but I wasn't paying attention.
Omar was listening to the Black Eyed Poos.
That's what I was doing. Tell me if you know.
You were close, Omar.
Okay.
You were close, Omar. It was formed by. Well, first of all, to get to the answer, which river is at the bottom of the Grand Canyon?
The Colorado.
What river is that? Okay.
Yeah.
That you get that right.
Yeah.
But it was formed by the Colorado River over hundreds of thousands of years, just erosion.
Oh,
the river flowing, so it just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And you guys know I'm a history buff.
Yeah.
On I think the story, it was like 2-3 years ago, they had the History of Us, and they went through every like landmark or national park, and they showed like a digital rendering of how the Grand Canyon was formed. And it started, sure enough, with a little river, and it just over time just got deeper and deeper and deeper. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So go back there and relearn that.
Well,
so it's kind of like that's a virgin river, and then as older and older it gets, it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all tore up.
it's all loose. It needs rejuvenation now.
Yeah. So I mean, that was definitely like a once in a lifetime experience taking the plane ride, and I'm so glad I did that. And then we from the airport to the actual Grand Canyon, it was about another 30 minutes. So we drove up there, and I don't want to discourage anybody from actually going to the Grand Canyon because my buddy was wrong. I had a blast at the Grand Canyon, dude.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, did you see one of the most popular tourist attractions at the Grand Canyon? And that's people dying from taking selfies?
dude.
No?
Well, I was pretty confident that this one kid was just walking down like by the ledge, just like he didn't have a care in the world, and his grandfather was just like, "All right, look up here, man. I'm gonna take a picture." I'm like, "What is happening?" Like, it was crazy. Like there's certain parts where there's just no barrier.
Was his grandpa Otto the bus driver from The Simpsons? All right, man, come to this picture, man.
He was a totally dude guy though.
Yeah.
And then there was this other guy, and he was doing just what Dave said. He was on the ledge, and he was taking a selfie just because he wanted that rad background. And if he would have moved over, or the wind would have kicked up, he would have been dead. Absolutely, it was pretty insane how dumb people are, man.
There's no railing.
Crazy.
There was no railing because I haven't been there since I was like 10.
If you go on specific trails, there's railings like the big trails, but then you start driving and you're stopping at other viewpoints, and once you go a little bit deeper, there's no railings. There's just absolutely no railings, and you could go down there and take a picture and possibly kill yourself.
Did you happen to go on that bridge that goes out into the canyon? And is it like a clear bridge or?
No, so I think that's on the North Rim. We went to the South Rim. Rim. Yeah, that's on the North Rim. And I think a lot of people that come from Vegas, I think if you stay in Vegas, the trip's like an hour and a half, to see the Grand Canyon. So that's on the North Rim. We kind of just saw the entire South Rim. So, but man.
What about... I'm not going to say it.
What about, are you going to make like a rim job joke or something?
Come on, Speed Bump, do it.
What about the anal rim?
So again, I don't want to discourage anybody from not going to the Grand Canyon because, to be honest, you get to this hiking trail, and then you see one portion of it, and then you kind of drive out, and just driving out there in nature. And the other weird thing, guys, and listen, I'm not the smartest guy. I thought it was going to be just a desert landscape, and it's not. It's the forest out there. It's like you're driving.
Where?
The Grand Canyon. Oh, so you guys aren't aware of this either?
There's parts.
No,
I've never been to the Grand Canyon.
Dude, the entire South Rim Mugs that we drove was all a forest.
Anal rim.
Yeah, but man, dude, I had a blast, and the kids were super cool, and luckily everything was went off without a hitch. We didn't have any incidents, and it was definitely a trip of a lifetime. I'm actually editing a video up, like a family video with all the footage that we took, and I'll show it to you guys.
Nice.
So it was good times, man. Yeah, definitely. If you guys ever get a chance to do it, definitely go to the Grand Canyon. It's a very quick trip from Rancho Cucamonga. It took us about 6.5 hours to get down there, so it wasn't a big deal at all. Yeah,
Omar,
sure.
final question.
Sure.
Did you go on the edge and go, hello?
No, but I will tell you the most annoying thing. I'm not kidding you. Okay, some like a lot of people like dad jokes or something, but I saw this happen 3 different times from 3 different people. Okay, there was people there saying, "Red Robin." I'm like, what? I
don't
know,
even get that.
dude.
That's awesome. You don't get that? That's the Red Robin commercial.
Yeah, dude. It's just, oh my god.
What?
I was like, are you
it
kidding?
goes Red Robin, Red Robin, Red
And
Robin.
no, it goes Red Robin, and then it's yum.
Yeah, it just, if you know, you know, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense. 3 different people, guys. 3 different people
Yeah,
did that
that's
into the
awesome.
Grand Canyon, man. I was like, what is happening? So yeah, it was
Did
a good
anybody
time.
go? Ricola?
I would have done that one. I love that one. I would have done that one. That would have been good. Mr. Sanchez, you went to the oddly named A Touch of Disney, which sounds like some pedophile's going to touch you.
All right.
Well, no, I'm going this weekend.
Oh,
It's,
you're going.
the first
Okay.
time I'm going to the Disneyland property since the day before everything shut down. I was there as the gates closed for the very last time, and now I'm excited to be going back to. It's called A Touch of Disney, which is it's just a dining experience at Disney at California Adventure. So the restaurants are going to be open, the bars are going to be open. They have these little like food kiosks everywhere, and you get to take pictures at all the spots. So essentially I'm gonna go to eat at Disneyland, which then I'm excited for that. But they just announced that Disneyland is finally reopening at a 25% capacity. Fuck yeah. And 25% capacity, that's insane. That's cool. That means the capacity is like 80,000 people, right?
Okay.
80 to 100,000. So think about it. It's only going to be like 20,000 people there amongst each park. And those are big parks. So
Now I know
I'm
they
excited to
released
try-
they released a list of what was going to be open. The rides are most of
Yeah,
the
I
rides
could
open, or
Yeah, most of the rides are open, but some of the ones that aren't going to be open when they open up, and some of these, like, okay, the monorail is not going to be open. A lot of people like that. The canoes aren't going to be open. No one likes those anyways.
yeah.
Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters sucks. No one cares.
I like that
Finding
one.
Nemo
My
Submarine
kids like
Voyage.
that one.
Terrible.
I peed
the
on that ride once.
bobsleds.
wait,
Which
whoa,
one?
wait, what?
I peed on the submarine ride before it was Finding Nemo when I was like 10 because I was like,
Not on the ride. You peed in your pants. You fucking pee boy.
Oh, I peed on my pants on the ride,
What happened?
like in the submarine.
What happened?
Because I had never been on the submarine ride before in my life, and there was no line. So I'm like, Dad, let's go. Dad, come on. And we ran over, and like we got to the front like right away, and I was like, oh my God, I got to pee really bad, but I don't want to leave because the line was already like backing up. Like
Yeah.
people like saw
Oh,
it like I
no.
did. Like, oh, there's no line. So I was like, I'll hold it. Got around, how it goes around the whole, like, it's on a track and it just goes really slow. By the time it got to the end, I was like, oh my God, I'm almost there. Hold it. And then it was just to the point where, like, all right, you know what? Can't hold it anymore. And we had to go
And then
home because I
you
had
come
wet
up-
shorts.
You come
Yeah.
up from the it's like a waterfall, right? You come up,
Yeah.
like, so you're like, all right, that's it, it's gone.
Yep, that's it. The waterfall
Wait a
hit me.
minute.
And
What time was
and then
this?
it's like maybe 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, okay. So, you guys
Our
were
day was
already
done,
at
but
the end of the day.
Still,
Okay.
I wanted to stay. But
Yeah.
yeah, I peed my pants and then I waddled back to the car because I was like,
Oh,
it was kind of cold
man.
outside.
Yeah.
So you know when you have wet pants after you pee them, you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, hold on, let me get that.
What did Mama and
anyway.
Papa Mug say?
They really didn't. I mean, they're just like,
They're like, that's Beer Mug, or that's Johnny.
Janky Town, hit the ground. We can get the janky poppin', that's a sound. We make your frown go upside down. It's getting janky, we the greatest pound for pound. What up, Mugs? What up, Dave? What up, O? What up, James? What up, Mugs? What up, Dave? What up, O? What up, James? It's getting janky, it's getting janky, it's getting janky. I love it when we jank around. It's getting janky, it's getting janky, it's getting janky. I love it when we jank around. Janky Town.
That's right. This is Janky Town, episode number 34. Man, 34.
That's right.
That's crazy. If you ever want to get at us on the emails, our email address is jankytown69@gmail.com. And as always, you can hit us up on the phone. That sounds kind of old school now when you think about it. It's like, oh, you can hit us up on the old school phone. It's 855-JANKY69. And Mr. Sanchez, what's our social medias?
At JankyTown 69 on the Instagram and the twits. The Twitters. Yeah, and then you can find us Jankytown on YouTube.
Yeah.
And on Facebook. And on Facebook if you like that too.
Lucky us, we're like almost halfway to actually started making a little bit of dough on YouTube because we surpassed 1,000 subscribers. So thank you to everybody that subscribed. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and we're only like less than 1,000 hours from making that $2 a month or whatever. So we're almost there, guys. But more importantly,
We're gonna make so much money, like a quarter each.
What episode is this?
34.
We're halfway there.
Is this halfway to 69?
Yes.
Are you sure?
We're only 35 episodes away.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because we're halfway through this episode.
Oh, we're halfway there.
Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, that's exciting, man. I cannot wait for that live show. And Dave, we got to remember after we hop off real quick, you got to tell us your idea for the live Zoom because we keep forgetting to talk about it and we need to set a date because Mr. Sanchez has an idea. And
we'll definitely do it.
We definitely want to do another one leading up to our live one. And the live one, I mean, I imagine it's going to be bananas. And I have a party this weekend. A lot of people are getting vaccinated. And this one, I believe, I'm only half vaccinated. Yeah, it's one of those.
Nice.
So it's going to be interesting to see how these people let loose because it's like you have to be all fully vaxxed up. So I'm still going to be all masked up because I'm still at 80%. I think it's 80% once you have your first dose, right?
Well, we're going to talk to Dr. Gill later, and we'll get all the details on the
find
vaccines.
Because I was so confused when Pfizer and Moderna were all like, it's good for 6 months. And I was like, what? Because I was like, I said before, I'm not a smart guy. And so I did not know, because I was under the impression that you get vaxxed and then you're good forever. And I guess that's not the case. So Dr. Gill is going to...
All right.
I was like, good booking.
Omar, how did you think you could take one vaccine and it work for the rest of your life?
Because I'm a moron. That's why, Dr. Phil. So we'll talk to Dr. Gill a little later in the show. And
by the way, that sounds like a good bit, huh? We don't have Dr. Phil, but we got Dr. Gill.
Yeah, that is
He's like, I'm a doctor.
Not a real doctor. All right, I want to do a bit, and it's going to be called Is It Chill? Okay, I have 3 different stories here, and I just want you guys to tell me if this is chill or not. Okay.
Hold on, do we have an intro?
I don't know. Do we?
I think we do.
Okay. All right, here we go. I'll try it. Is it chill?
Was that Elvis doing that?
No, it was cold. He was cold. No. He was just cold. That was just cold.
Sounded like Elvis.
All right.
Do it again.
Okay. Is it chill?
I don't know.
We can do another one.
It's fine. All right. Okay.
All right. Well,
It's a
that's for
working
this week.
intro.
We'll try it next week.
Okay.
Then. We'll try to do that.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
No worries. Is it chill? A Tennessee woman opened fire inside a Burger King drive-thru after apparently becoming enraged about the wait time. Is that chill?
I mean, how long was she waiting?
Yeah, I mean, we all agreed that 30 minutes is like the maximum.
Surveillance photos show the unhinged customer leading through the Memphis fast food joint while brandishing a handgun, and she fired into the store 3 times because
What?
Yeah, because she felt her order was taking a little too long. No, don't fret though. Everybody was able to go to the back stock room, and everybody is safe. And the lady is still on the loose. So Memphis PD,
What?
yeah, she's still on the loose. So Memphis PD is still on the hunt for her. Is that chill, guys?
Wait, it was a Burger King?
It was a Burger King.
Well, I mean, their slogan is "Have it your way," so she took it at gunpoint, I guess, right?
That is true. I never even thought of
Right?
that. So I guess that
Am I
that
right?
is, that is chill then.
Yeah.
It's in the,
All right, I guess it's chill, yeah.
it's in their slogan. All right, guys, is it chill?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Is it chill?
11 Ukrainian women and a Russian male photographer had reportedly been arrested over a naked photo shoot that took place in Dubai on a balcony. More than a dozen nude models were photographed standing on a high-rise apartment balcony. Again, this happened in Dubai, but they got busted once the pictures started showing up on social media. So they're looking after these women and the photographer, and they're going to charge them. What do you think the repercussions are if you're in Dubai and you have a impromptu naked photo shoot?
One, not chill that they're getting arrested.
Not
So,
chill.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo Dubai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo Dubai. Bye Dubai. No.
That's not brown rice.
All right. So I think they're gonna get their like whipped or something like that. Do they still do that in Dubai?
That's Singapore.
Are they,
Yeah, that's Singapore.
That's Singapore,
That's
yeah.
They
no,
behead
Singapore's
you.
caning.
Yeah, do the caning.
Singapore's
Oh,
caning.
yeah.
They behead you in Dubai, I think.
So I think they're gonna go to jail for like a year for something extreme like that.
Okay. Muggs, what do you think's going to happen to him?
I think they're all going to get Rolexes
Okay.
and really expensive sports cars and just leave them out in the desert whenever they feel like it, because that's what they do in there.
Hey, by the way,
Dubai.
that's what I thought Dubai was like, and I thought it was like Las Vegas out there. I thought it was like the Wild Wild West. Like if you had money, you could do whatever you want. I guess not, huh?
People I know who've gone to Dubai, they always like post pictures of them in the desert with a falcon like on their arms.
What the-
And you're like, what the hell's going on over there? And they're just like partying. And that's where the Salt Bay guy's from, right? Like that's where
I
it
didn't know
happens.
that.
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Yeah. The guy's like, "Brr, that's
So
Dubai.
maybe they just
and they
don't
have
like-
the tallest hotel in the world that looks pretty bitchin'.
Yeah,
So,
maybe they
so-
just don't like anything that's sexual or whatever because it's against their religious beliefs or something like that.
maybe, but they are extravagant. So what was the penalty?
6 months behind bars, and they're gonna get fined $1,500 each.
Yeah, but
That's
their
some
bars
bullshit, man.
Bull, right?
is $500 each.
1,500.
Oh, still, that's
And
like
6 months.
$5 to them.
No, and it's
and
on
6
top
months.
of. Yeah, dude, 6 months
Yeah,
in
but-
jail.
yeah.
Are you kidding me?
But their jails are probably like the Ritz Carlton, dude. It's Dubai.
Still.
Everything is lavish and expensive.
All right.
No way, man.
My last story in Is It Chill? No, wait. Dave.
Is it chill?
Is Dave a ghost now? I don't get it.
It does sound like a ghost.
Woo!
A Philippine man allegedly died when he was forced to do 300 squats as punishment for breaking COVID-19 curfew rules. Darren Managpalala, 28, was out after 6 p.m. buying drink water for his family. Right? He was at the store.
buying what?
Drinking
Drink
water.
water.
Drinking water. and and he was
You know, that drink water.
and he was
Is that a new brand?
it is. It's the drink water. It's like ABM, but it's drink water. He was nabbed, but he was out after 6 p.m. and he was nabbed by the village guards. And the village guards said, "Hey, we're gonna punish you by doing 100 what they call pumping exercises." But the dude,
Yeah, I'll pump it up.
but the police said, "Hey, if you mess up any of these 100 quote unquote pumping exercises, you're going to have to restart. So he had to do about 300 squats. And after
insane.
everything was said and done, it was around 8 a.m. And his legs were so just spaghetti that he needed help getting home by another person that was busted because he also broke the curfew law. So he was dragged home with the help of these two other people that were there breaking the curfew law. He gets home, he crashes out, and he gets up, and the following day he cannot get up and walk whatsoever. He's there with his wife, and his wife is like, dude, come on, are you kidding me? And he ends up having a stroke later that day, the day he woke up, and he freaking dies. So is that chill of the Philippine government making somebody do 300 squats and then possibly killing this guy? Isn't that crazy?
Hell yeah.
What?
Hell
chill?
yeah. Good on you, Philippines. It's like one of the best way to defend against COVID is to, one, stay home, and two is to be in good health. So if you're not going to stay home, at least be in good health. And they were trying to get that man healthy by making him do squats, making him do some up downs, some burpees, some push-ups. I don't know what else they were trying to make him do. So he was going to build his immune system. It didn't happen because he was out of shape. Sorry.
But the dude ended up dying, man.
Listen, unfortunate accident. It's just like a casualty of war. But his homeboy carried him all the way home.
Yeah,
so I bet he's fit now,
yeah,
right?
This guy
He's
was weak. This guy was weak sauce. I will give you that. He was totally weak sauce. So
Let me ask you a question.
yeah.
Was he squatting with 55 pounds on his shoulder?
Yes, he was. All right, Dave. You know how I was saying I'm not a smart guy.
That is true. You are not.
Listen, yeah, but at least I'm upfront about it. This vaccination bombshell. I want to call it bombshell, but everybody's playing it off like, no, man. I knew that the vaccines don't last forever, and it's all about herd immunity, or I don't know what kind of BS people are saying, but I think I'm in the minority then because everybody acts like they know, but I really did think that once you get your vaccine, it's like one and then it lasts forever. I didn't know you needed another recharge. And
you get the first one, right? And that's like half vaccinates you.
Yeah.
And then you get the second dose, unless you're getting Johnson & Johnson, which is a one-shotter.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, at least to my knowledge, my vast medical knowledge, once you get the two shots, a couple of weeks later, your body is fully vaccinated and you're good to go. You're ready to party, throw out your mask, and go nuts in Miami or Havasu
Dave, no.
and lick things and make out with strangers.
I don't think that's the case, Dave. I think you're misinformed as well. I don't think that's a good dude. So I lined up a doctor, and you're not going to believe who I got on the phone to talk to us, dude. I was able to get Dr. Phil on the phone.
Dr. Phil?
Dr. Phil.
The TV doctor?
Yeah. Dr. Phil, are you there? Dr. Phil? Oh, wait. Is that
Hello?
Dr. Gill?
Hello, yes.
Oh, man. It's not Dr. Phil. It's Dr. Gill.
That was a typo then on the schedule.
Our bad.
You guys lucked out today.
Look, he may not be a TV doctor, but he at least is a real doctor.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Gill, what's your qualifications? Or is that a thing?
Okay.
Qualifications? Or what's your...
Sure, yeah. I went to college at UCLA. I did my medical school in Chicago, did my residency at UCLA, and been practicing almost 13 years now as an adult medicine doctor. I do family medicine, internal medicine,
Nice.
some other stuff.
So he should know what he's talking about, right?
I would hope so. Dr. Gill, we have many questions. Dave, do you want to go first?
No.
Okay.
I want to ask you is what did you see? Why do we have Dr. Gill? What did you see that is blowing your mind about the vaccine?
So I have
the
a couple.
the COVID-19 vaccine, I should say.
Yeah, so I have a couple of questions. Okay, first I want to talk a little bit about when you get your first dose. How many weeks does it take after your first dose to get to what I think? I have the Pfizer. Does it take 2 weeks to get to 80%? Because that's the number I've heard that once you get your first dose, within 2 weeks you're at 80% vaccination.
Right. So, people think they're hearing this like 14 days after your vaccine, you're protected. It's a spectrum. So you're building up antibodies. Once you get the vaccine, you're building up antibodies. And so someone draws like this arbitrary line saying, yeah, at 14 days, then that dose you just got, now you're at optimal protection. So yeah, from those studies, you get 80% like from the first dose, and then after 2 weeks of the second dose, you're at 90 something percent. So
Okay.
yes.
So then, does it work kind of like, okay, so if I get my second dose tomorrow, as each day goes by, a percentage theoretically increases, right? Until I get to that 95%. Okay.
Exactly. It's not like a light switch is turned on where you're like at 0 and then all of a sudden you're at 95% on day 14. Right. Exactly.
Okay. And then the really crazy thing that blew my mind, and I'm not a medical doctor, and like I was so upfront, I might be a moron, but I really was under the impression that once you got vaccinated, that you were good forever. But that seems not to be the case. Does this mean that 6 months down the road, all of us have to get another shot, or what does this mean?
Well, that's we don't have the exact answer to that question, but we're preparing because there's definitely a good chance that it could happen. The viruses like other like COVID, like other viruses, are going to mutate, especially if not everyone's been vaccinated. People are not social distancing. So as the virus is trying to replicate and survive, any like mutation in its DNA, when it then gets copied to someone else, that mutation then can maybe potentially escape the vaccine and escape the antibodies that you've developed. So that's why you've heard of this UK variant, probably this South African variant, this Brazil one. And it seems so far that Pfizer and Moderna still protect us, although not as good as the original strain, the OG strain,
right?
But still good enough to probably protect us.
Well, what about the Johnson & Johnson? Because that's the weak sauce one that Dave got.
Well, it's comparing apples and oranges, because Johnson & Johnson's trials were already when we had these variants and mutations. So because the efficacy looks lower, you can't say with certainty that it's worse. And the main outcome we're really looking at is severe hospitalizations and death.
Right.
So if you get the Johnson & Johnson, no one ended up on a ventilator in the ICU or died. And that's really the most important thing. But you could have a mild to moderate infection. Is that what you got? Is that what you got, Dave? You got the J&J?
Yeah. J&J.
Hey, Gil's,
one and done.
Gil, so then kind of break this down for me. When I was a kid, I got vaccinated for polio. Is there, if I go to somewhere and I'm exposed to polio, there is a chance I could actually get polio?
Polio still actually does exist, like here and there. There are certain countries where it will recommend that you get a polio booster as an adult in order to visit. I actually got it a couple of years ago. I think it was for maybe Ukraine, I think. So it depends. Some of these viruses, you get like your hepatitis A and B as a kid. It's supposed to last lifelong. HPV vaccine, supposed to be lifelong.
Got it.
But yeah, those viruses aren't, they're not so highly contagious and mutating like COVID is, or like even the flu shot, which we have to get every year. So it sounds like we're going to need a booster if you've already had your first two or one, to protect us from these new mutations, these new strains, these new variants. They're also even developing just a newer version of the vaccine, which includes the newer variants, because when they were first developed, we only had like the original strain.
Right.
So it's looking like that, but we don't know for sure, but it's looking like that. And if I were to guess, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, we get a flu shot and a COVID shot. Maybe it's combined in one or two vaccines like every fall to protect us through the winter when everyone's huddled together. It's colder weather.
Got it.
Infections are spread more easily.
So I'm not a total moron thinking this way, right?
Well, no, of course not. I think a lot of the news articles, like if you look at the headlines, maybe you saw that it said, Pfizer vaccine lasts 6 months or Moderna vaccine lasts 6 months. But if you actually look at the fine print and actually read the article, it says the people who were in the trials originally been tested, they checked their antibody levels 6 months out through like 3 different types of tests called assays. Right. And all of them still had very high antibody levels. A little bit of decline from the very beginning, but still very protective. So the details actually say they're protected for at least 6 months or more, and we're still going to follow these people along, keep checking their antibodies. So those vaccines will protect you from the original strain at least 6 months and probably longer.
Cool.
So, Dr. Gill, just because you're vaccinated, you're not immune to the disease, right?
The question of whether you can still get infected and pass it around, I think, is what you're implying, right?
Yes.
To the original strain, I think you're not going to get infected, not be contagious. But with these new variants, and your antibodies aren't quite as strong, and the the one vaccine that I think about is the AstraZeneca vaccine, which you might have heard in Europe, kind of got some bad press about maybe there's blood clots.
That's the one Bean got.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, again, I don't think anyone had severe infections or passed away from COVID, but the 1 out of a million chance you get a blood clot could be dangerous. So that one, maybe you might get a mild to moderate infection and be contagious. So it's hard to say. There's still, the weaker your immune system is to a virus, yes, you might have an asymptomatic infection, you might have asymptomatic spread. So probably not with if you got Pfizer, Moderna, and America right now, but 6 months from now, things might be different. It's hard to predict.
Let me ask you this, Dr. Gill, and thank you so much again for hopping on the phone with us. But I know there's a 5% chance of getting COVID even if you're vaccinated. However, with that said, if you got COVID without the vaccination and you were going to have a severe reaction to that virus, if you are vaccinated and then contract COVID, does the vaccination lessen your symptoms?
Yes, that was a long question. I was trying to follow that along.
Okay, yeah.
But at least to the last part, if you have been vaccinated and you get infected, yes, your symptoms generally should be mild. We used to always encourage people to get the flu vaccine because there's been some studies too that, if you have a flu shot and then you get the flu, it won't be, you might still get the flu, but at least it won't be as bad as if you didn't have the vaccine. Okay. So the same thing seems to apply to the COVID vaccine as well.
All right, Dr. Gill, I have a question. So, with the flu shot, when people get it, my girlfriend Krista got it, and then immediately had 100-degree fever and had to take all these medications. And then with the vaccination for the COVID vaccination, she had a reaction and I didn't. Why is that? Why are certain people getting reactions to these shots, like these vaccines, and
it's a great question. So she got Johnson & Johnson too, and she had never had COVID either. Is that right?
Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty random, to be honest. Some people, just have this overactive immune system maybe, and create a lot of, the bigger your side effects that you have kind of implies that you're making a lot of antibodies. But you can't say if you don't have side effects, that means you're not making antibodies. You can't look at it like that. Even if you have no side effects, you still could be making a lot of antibodies. But yeah, it's kind of hit or miss. I've heard it just randomly. I think we talked about this last time, that if you've had a COVID infection, your vaccine side effect tends to be stronger, and that's why COVID people might only need one instead of 2 shots, because they might have enough antibodies just after one. But yeah, I think it's just hit or miss. The older you are, the least likely you're going to have, the lower likelihood of a big immune response. So if you actually break down the vaccine trials, you look at the fact sheets, people under 65 do have a stronger efficacy than people over 65. So for instance, Moderna, although they say it's 94% effective or 93, 94, if you look under 65, it's actually 96% effective. But when you look at over 65, it's only 86% effective. So you would think that older people also, are less likely to have a bad reaction too.
Now, Dr. Gill, we've heard so much about these people who don't want to get vaccinated and they want to contract COVID because they believe in herd immunity. Can you kind of break down for us what that is and if that will be effective at all? And if these people who are not getting vaccinated, are they going to ruin it for the rest of us?
So yes to the last part. So herd immunity is basically when you have enough of a population immune, either through vaccination and or infection, that they can't get sick from the disease that's running around. And the minority of people in that population who have not been vaccinated or infected are protected because everyone else has already been infected or been vaccinated. So the problem with this herd immunity, where people say, let's just let everyone get infected. If we just let everyone get infected, then lots of people are going to die.
Right.
Which is not, a trade-off anyone's willing to take. So that's why the Sweden thing was like, not a good idea. You want to get herd immunity. That's a good thing, but you want it through basically all vaccination and no infection, ideally.
Right.
But in the world we exist, it's going to be a combination. So either you have so much infection and or so much vaccination that you get to this golden number, and everyone's kind of debated, is it 80, 90%? Is it 60, 70%? When do we get that threshold where then that remainder, 10 or 20% of people who aren't vaccinated are just automatically protected? And those people, the problem that a lot of people think is, well, if they don't get the vaccine, they're going to be fine. They're going to be protected. But the problem is a lot of people can't get the vaccine because they have a low immune system. Let's say they're on immunosuppressant drugs, or they have, cancer or HIV. There's certain medical conditions. They just can't get a vaccine, and they depend on us to wear a mask, keep our distance, get vaccinated so that they will be protected. But if there is so much virus rampant in a country or a population or a state, and it's replicating, so it can create more variants by what's called genetic mutation, there's just an accident and a copying, and that leads to a stronger strain, then these vaccines won't protect us, and they're going to be more vulnerable.
Oh, man.
And that's going to make us more vulnerable, because even though we got vaccinated for these certain strains, a new strain very well may not be protected. And so that's the problem, how, in America, at least we're doing really well. By the end of this weekend, I think 50% of Americans will have had at least 1 or 2 doses. But I don't know if you follow the news, a bunch of other countries are like barren. They have no vaccine.
It's terrible.
They have no hospitals. I mean, like, we're very lucky that we can vaccinate ourselves, but we're not just, in a vacuum, and our borders have walls that no one can go in and out, right? And so we're open to having a lot, once the borders open up, and if they're not been vaccinated, it's back to square one.
Yeah, let me ask you the last thing for me, Dr. Phil, is that so many people are out there are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and I think a lot of people are what's that football expression? They're celebrating in the 5 5-yard line, the 5-yard line, instead of actually waiting it out to score a touchdown. You see all these states with no mask mandate, or they lifted the mask mandate, and here in California, Gavin Newsom said that we're going to reopen, mid-June. Is that not good? Is that going to be a huge issue?
That's a really good question, Beer Mug. I appreciate that question.
Hey!
Thanks for your input. I think Newsom, although he says it's not politically motivated, about his potential recall, the June 15 is a lofty, ambitious, reasonable goal. Our rates in California our positivity rate is the lowest in the whole country. Now, why that is unclear. Was it because we had that big surge in December, and now we have a lot of herd immunity in January already? I don't know. But based off the data that the scientists have put out for, tiers and all that stuff, if we stay on track, it actually is pretty reasonable that we can have indoor concerts and indoor, venues.
Wow.
But there's that big but of our state.
Don't be a downer, man.
There's a but, and you cannot lie, dude. Come on.
Yeah, but people can come from out of state into our state, especially if it's attractive. Oh, California has no cases. Let's just go there, and then maybe they might bring a strain in here. But that's why we don't know. I hope it's looking good so far. But yes, all these other states like Michigan, and you might have heard. The mask mandate states that were lifted are having a lot of young population because they haven't been vaccinated.
Right.
They're not over 65 or eligible yet. So I don't know if that answered your question. Your question was whether it's going to be. It's hopeful. He did put the disclaimer. This could change if our rates get worse. If things change, we could just lock things back up. So. That's we want to have motivation, hopefully, and optimism, but we'll know when we get closer to that date whether we are ready to open and lift all those things off. Except the mask mandate, that's going to stay on.
Right.
All right, Dr. Gill. My final question is: so you're vaccinated, I'm vaccinated, and Omar's half vaccinated. Beer Mug is dead. So can we all go outside and do shots and get wasted now and have fun, or do we still have to be cautious?
Great question, Dave. I love that.
Well, if we're outside and distance, yeah, we can always do that. But maybe you meant like indoors. So if it's been 14 days after after you're fully vaccinated, so 2 with the Pfizer Moderna, 1 with the Johnson Johnson, yeah, we can actually be all indoors without a mask.
Hell yeah.
Hugging each other, kissing each
hug you.
other.
We're making
Nope,
out,
don't wanna do
baby.
that.
We're making out. I'm making out with everybody.
Yeah, you can feel free to do that.
All
Right
man.
on. All right, well, Dr. Gill, thanks so much. He's a real doctor, not a TV doctor, from UCLA. He just doesn't want to go to Spokane anymore because Gonzaga,
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
sure put a dagger in him.
Ouch.
man.
But
Oh, man.
but hey, man, thanks so much for coming on and joining us and actually saying smart things and teaching stupid people like us. Giving us some good information.
Yeah,
you guys,
man.
you guys are great. You guys are really smart questions. I hope people listening have learned a little bit. But
Awesome.
just get your vaccine as soon as you can. We're gonna get through this. And yeah, I really appreciate talking to you guys. R.I.P. Beer Mug.
All right, dude. Thanks, Dr. Gill.
And
Yeah,
if
take care.
the Janks does have any questions, like medical questions, like anything, like what's that sore? Why is it
What's
why
that
is it
sore?
red down there?
That's got to be a regular
Yeah.
segment. What's that sore? Are you kidding?
Yeah, hit up Dr. Gill on Instagram. He loves
Oh,
it. So
man.
Yeah, I have.
Hey, Dr.
Dave's
Gill,
cell
what's your
phone number.
Instagram?
I'll give it to you. My Instagram is Dr. Gill. DRGIL.
Awesome, dude.
right on.
Thanks, Gill.
All right, Dr. Gill.
Okay, take care.
See you,
Bye-bye.
man. Bye.
Later, man.
So, Beer Mug said a little earlier in this program that he is a history buff. And you know what?
am.
I found that interesting because I never really knew this about Beer Mug, but he is a history buff. So I thought it would be funny to have a little segment called Beer Mug, the History Buff-foon.
Foon. I was waiting.
Does it have an intro?
Dave, does it?
I don't have one. Do you have one?
Beer Mug?
Okay, ready?
Yes.
Okay, live.
Ba-da-da-da, it's time ba-da-da-da, for the Beer Mug History Buffoon. Ba-da-ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum. That's the music bed.
I like
That
it.
is
I
right,
like it.
Omar.
Yeah.
I am, in fact, a history buff. In fact, anytime there's a documentary on television about really anything that happened a long time ago or just recently, I love
You
it.
mean like
I love-
history?
Like history in the past.
Okay.
Can I ask you where you got your
yeah.
passion for this? Because I am a guy who cannot sit so even if it's something interesting, like let's say Pearl Harbor or something that affected America greatly, right? Had a tremendous impact on probably the America that we know now, right? I cannot watch more than 15 minutes. I'm out. So you must be passionate about it. Where did this come from?
I think a little bit comes from Mama Muggs, and she used to be a teacher, a history teacher.
Oh, okay.
And she really enjoys it. But also, I think mainly the main thing is I like to transport myself back to whatever time I'm learning about, just kind of like pretend or imagine or fantasize what it would be like living in those times. Like, if
Like during the
let's say
Hitler
I'm-
times.
except that one. I do not want to.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good on that one.
Okay.
But like if I'm in New York City, like when we went for Kevin and Bean a long time ago, you see like a historical landmark or like a plaque somewhere. You read about it and you go, wow, and you kind of transport yourself back to that time, right?
See, that's very cool.
So-
I don't have that quality. And Dave, you were there.
do.
I think you were there in Vegas when Beer Mug was there, and Beer Mug was giving everybody a history lesson on Vegas. Were you there?
Just spouting out facts.
Yeah.
Like, this is where the mob did this. And then he's like, this is where you can get weed. I was like, all right, that's finally something useful.
I'm a history buff / tour guide.
Truly a Renaissance man, from history to weed, So, so tell
I
us
think it's just-
what you're going to speak about on this episode
So,
of.
well, it's funny. Dave mentioned a little bit of the mob, and that I think is the most fascinating part of not only Italian history and also, there was, I guess, the Jewish mob, and there's a bunch of mobs. There's a bunch of, different cultural crime families. I think that is the most fascinating to see how these people operated. Mostly sociopaths, just doing whatever they wanted, killing at will, and it's crazy how for the longest time in America, the crime families controlled so much of the industry going on.
Disclaimer, Jonathan Birma Cantro speaks for Jonathan Birma Cantro and not the rest of the Janky Town crew. So, mobs, Jonathan, continue.
Oh, don't worry, Dave. I already cleared it with every single mob, and we're good. So, so it's funny because, you guys have seen the film The Irishman, right? Are you guys familiar with that film that came out?
I didn't finish it. It was too long.
It was a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
It's
It was
a 3-hour
4-hour movie. Was it
Yeah.
3 or 4?
It's 3 hours and 19 minutes to be specific.
Yeah.
But that came out in 2019. That was the first Netflix kind of release that they did simultaneously with movie theaters and straight to Netflix. So I watched it when it came out, and then I flipped by it the other day, and it was on, and I was like, whoa, I want to watch this again. This is very interesting. And for those who haven't seen The Irishman, Jankstas, it is about Jimmy Hoffa and the Teamsters and the Mafia, and Jimmy Hoffa's essentially right-hand man or security guard at the time. But, I was going to do this segment in Don Vito Corleone voice, but that's just going to be too hard, especially since I lost it at the Astros game. So I'm going to do.
How would that have sounded, if you don't mind, just real quick?
So there was Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa had a right-hand man, Frank Sheeran, and Russell Bufalino was the head of the Pennsylvania Times.
Nope, you have to do it like this.
You got to do it.
You have to do it like
You got to
this.
do it.
Okay, I'll try.
Oh, man, that's so good.
Because I have to stick out my jowls.
Yeah.
I have to stick out my jowls because that's
That's so good.
what Marlon Brando did when
Yeah.
he played Vito Corleone.
What a
So
hack.
anyway,
So what are we learning today?
so what we learned today, exactly what happened.
I can't. It's too
Oh,
hard.
man. All
I
right,
can't.
all
It's
right,
it.
all
I
right,
can't.
all
It's
right,
it's just.
all right.
It's,
It morphed into something
Yeah.
else like, hey, how you do?
All right.
wow, that's racist, Dave. That's stereotypical.
I wasn't doing
so-
it. You were.
For many years, you guys have heard like, oh, what happened to Jimmy Hoffa, right? Well, this movie, essentially, it's directed by Martin Scorsese, and he's directed great films, pretty much all based on real life. Like Casino was based on the Italian mafia in Las Vegas in the 70s and 80s. Goodfellas, based on part of the New York crime family in the 70s, mostly. And, he did The Departed with Jack Nicholson and Leo. But he takes books or biographies, and he turns them into screenplays. So this
I thought
one
you were
was
going
about
to give us the history lesson, not how
I am.
Scorsese makes the movies.
I'm going to tell you. I have to set
All right.
this up.
Okay.
Thank you, Omar.
So everybody for the longest time, was like, what the hell happened to Jimmy Hoffa, right? Do you know what happened to Jimmy Hoffa, guys?
He's buried underneath the Yankee Stadium, right?
Right. That was a lot of people thought he was buried under the Giants football stadium in New York. A lot of people thought he was ground up into Hoffy hot dogs in the factory, hence Hoffy. But in fact, Scorsese borrows this story from a firsthand account of Jimmy Hoffa's bodyguard, who was appointed to Jimmy Hoffa by the American crime boss Russell Bufalino. It's a real guy. Real guy,
Bufalino.
played by Joe Pesci.
Nice name.
Russell Bufalino, played by
Yeah.
Joe Pesci in The Irishman. Robert De Niro plays Frank Sheeran, and Al Pacino plays Jimmy Hoffa. And essentially, Jimmy would get money from he would essentially take money from the Teamsters pension fund, which was covered in the movie Casino and also in The Irishman, and he would take money from the Teamsters pension fund and he would give it to these crime figures to build hotels in Las Vegas. So totally illegal, right? And Jimmy Hoffa was also he just would approve loans for the mafia. And
What
they
rate
had-
did they get the loans at? Like,
I think it was
low
like a
percentage at
11.2%.
Oh man, that's kind of high. I thought
Yeah,
he would give
yeah.
the mobsters a hookup and be like, "Yo, you get 1.2."
That's how
But I
they make
guess
their money.
He would, yeah, they wouldn't make money, right? Yeah.
That's how they make their money. So anyway, so there was a lot of corruption within the Teamsters organization and industry, like the garment industry, the dock workers.
Ralph Garment Industry.
Yeah, and
I thought it.
You got a
and
fly
I
in your
did-
head.
Yeah, and I didn't say it, you dumbass. Yeah, that's not brown
I
rice.
got a fly on my head.
so
my God.
you know,
Got a fly on your head.
There. Oh, that's loud. That one was loud.
besides small businesses like small shakedowns at like in neighborhoods of mom and pop shops, the mafia had their hands in major American industry, and a lot to do with Jimmy Hoffa. So Jimmy Hoffa went to jail for fraud. Okay.
All right.
And he went to jail for fraud for 5 years. And when he came out, there was already his successor of the Teamsters, which was his second in command while he was in charge, was now running things. And what happened is they found that this new guy was easier to deal with than Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa still, when he got out of jail, wanted to reclaim his spot at the top of the Teamsters.
Well, understandably,
that-
because this is something
Right.
he built up, right? And this
He
guy
built it
just
up, yeah.
kind of,
He's he's
not that this other guy slid in, but I'm sure he paid his dues too. But he rightfully so, he wants to reclaim what was his.
Exactly. So what ended up happening was a lot of the loans that these crime heads would ask for, Jimmy Hoffa would start kind of playing power moves and saying, "No, you're not getting that," or "We're going to hold that, and you'll see where that comes." And that pissed off a lot of the heads of the families.
So he was
right?
just being a big pain in the ass, huh?
Yeah. So then he would go on TV and be like, hey, the new head of the Teamsters is corrupt. There's crime families in his pockets, and like all the guys of the crime families are watching this. Like, is this guy serious? Like, what the hell? Like, he's really talking shit when he used to do the same thing, and now he's going to out us. So he became a major problem. So what happened is Frank Sheeran, his bodyguard, assigned to him for years by Russell Bufalino, was essentially given the order to take him out. And this is all from a book that he didn't write, but he had a writer with him days before his death, and something essentially he almost took to his grave. So he said that when he got the order to kill Jimmy Hoffa, they gave it to him because, what better person to trust than your bodyguard? Like, you would never think, Omar, I'm going to come to work. I'm going to come to K-Rock tomorrow, and Omar's going to just come right into my office and shoot me in the back of the head,
No,
right?
for sure. You trust this guy.
You never
He's
think
guarding
that.
you. Yeah, absolutely.
So there was always mystery on what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. But in this book, which is called "I Heard You Paint Houses," which essentially means it's a mob term for you're pretty much a murder for hire. You kill people.
Yeah.
At the behest of whoever is asking you to kill them. And so they asked him to kill him. So what happened is they set up a meeting, right? They set up a meeting outside this restaurant in Detroit where Hoffa lived at the time. And I guess somebody was late. They ended up showing up, Hoffa's bodyguard, Hoffa's stepson in the front seat, and two other like crime figures, like crime associates. And they took him. Dave's calling timeout. The intermission?
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Hoffa lived as long as this story.
Yeah, this could have been edited down a little bit.
Do you guys want the history lesson or not?
It would have been more fun if you did that voice because I'm tuning in and out.
I couldn't do that voice for this long of a story.
No,
long story short.
Yeah, oh, it's
long
too late
story
for
short.
that.
Oh, okay. Now I'm back in. All right, go ahead.
They brought him into the house. Frank Sheeran shot him in the back of the head. They threw him in his trunk, brought him to a crematory, incinerated him, and boom, that was it. That's why they never found him. Anyways, that is the story on the disappearance. Hold on. That is the story about the disappearance of James Riddle Hoffa.
All right.
So questions.
Well, thanks for your enthusiasm, Dave.
When we asked Muggs to come up with some history lessons, he said, "You know what? I watched The Irishman, so
Yeah.
let's go with."
He basically just described the movie. He's like, hey,
The movie is based on a true story.
yeah, but Muggs, I thought you were gonna bring
From 2019.
I thought you were gonna bring like some like deep like things that only you would know, and we would be all like, oh yeah, and not something that's kind of like widespread out there and really recent.
How would I? But
I mean,
You
to
said
be fair,
you're the history buffoon. Well,
Yeah, I know,
obviously
but
now.
most history I learn is not inside information. It's out there in the public knowledge. How
No,
would
no,
I,
no,
like-
no, no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it would be something more niche, I guess. Niche.
yeah, like tell me about Billy Bats. You know, like tell me about Billy Bats and Billy Bats'
Okay.
girlfriend. Like,
Or,
you know, like
I'll tell you about that. You ready?
the relationship between Billy Bats.
Billy
and
Bats was killed by the guy who Joe Pesci played in Goodfellas.
movies. So the
Right?
movies.
Joe
Well,
Pesci
yeah,
played in
they
Goodfellas.
get pissed at him for killing Billy Bats, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and he was a made guy. In real life, Billy Bats was John Gotti's like guy, and they killed the guy who Joe Pesci played in Goodfellas because of it.
Let me
'Cause
ask
he
you.
took out a made guy without permission.
Let me ask you, history.
That's a no-no in the
Let me
mafia.
ask you, history buffoon. Do you gain any of your knowledge by actually reading books, or are all these
all
just
TV.
movies?
You know, I read the info on the TV guide or whatever, the program guide.